Fuck it, we're doing it live. Fuck it. What do we? What do you want? What are you talking about?
We're talking about cartoons.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, cartoons. They make cartoons for kids. They make cartoons for grown-ups. Some cartoons are bad and some are good. And there's an overlap in there somewhere.
No, I think in
Um,
the modern era, most of them are just bad.
I agree with you. I saw a new cartoon the other day and I was very disappointed. Again, I'm always so disappointed.
But what I've noticed with a lot of new cartoons is they're all just copy or trying to copy Gravity Falls poorly. Like,
Oh, with like the mystery going on in the
no,
background and
just
stuff.
like the general art style, like the millennial writing. They're not made for kids anymore. That's what a lot of them don't understand. Gravity Falls was pretty much made for kids, whereas a lot of these are made for man children. Like Gravity Falls is actually good. Alex Hirsch
I love
himself,
Gravity
Alex Hirsch, questionable individual, but
Falls.
the show itself is actually pretty good. I enjoyed it.
I feel, I feel like that show is a really good example of an area where you do want to separate the creation from the creator. Where I
Yeah.
love that show. I think it's amazing. The guy on a personal level sounds kind of crummy,
Well, like
but I love
if
the show
you
anyway.
try to compare cartoonists to their work, no matter how far you look back, you're gonna have a bad time. Like the Ren and Stimpy creator was like a pedophile, or
That doesn't surprise me from what I've seen of that. Like I haven't really watched the show, but just the art style scares me.
yeah, he also made a lot of other things too. But like, also any fucking mangaka ever, like,
Well, anime is like a whole nother thing that I feel like the culture surrounding anime is a little different. I don't mean like Japan versus everywhere else. I mean like including the fans and everything. Like just I feel like it's a little different. But I think also that comes along with a lot of most anime is made for older audiences. Like there is little kid anime, but I feel like we have more little kid cartoons than there is little kid anime. Like the percentage of like kid versus adult media is different with anime.
well, yeah, like generally anime is made for adults. There are a few that are made for kids. Like Hetalia is made for kids. The Westerners are like, no, it's not. It's not appropriate. It's fine. I think for
There's
like
so many
young
gay
adults.
references in Hetalia. Young adult, yeah, sure, but like I wouldn't let a kid under 12 watch Hetalia, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just a cultural difference. I think if anything else,
Uh,
I think Americans treat their children like they're like retarded lobotomites until they're like 12 to 16, and then they still treat them like they're lobotomites, but just slightly less.
well, I think it depends on what type of thing you're trying to avoid. Like specifically, it's specifically the some of the things in there are things that like I don't want a kid to have when they're going through all the emotional weirdness of like preteen stuff.
Yeah, I can
I don't know.
understand that. I don't know. I feel like
It's
Italia is a bad
specifically the type.
example for that though, because Italia is mostly just poorly done world history. But like,
It's it's like
I mean,
illustrated
it's
in such
well
I
done,
love Hetalia.
but
That's the only reason I remember any world history before I started hanging out with you and you like telling history stuff because you talk about history stuff all the time. So before that, the only reason I understood anything is because I watched Hetalia in high school and the stuff they would reference would be like, "Oh, I kind of remember them talking about that in class." And so it was because I heard it from both perspectives of like I read that in the textbook and then I saw the way Hetalia like personified the countries and everything. Like I understand characters. I remember characters and stories a lot better than I remember like any sort of information you have to memorize or whatever.
yeah.
And it really helped me start seeing history in like personifying like these are actual characters, the people, they're real people, they're characters doing different things. But because it was such a grand scale, I had a hard time personalizing that. And Hetalia really helped me personify the larger groups, like whole countries and stuff, in a way that I'm able to actually remember history a lot better now
Yeah.
because Hitalia really helped me with that. So I'm all for watching Hitalia in high school, especially. I think would be great. Like I want my kids to watch Hitalia in high school. Help them with that.
Well, I think the only problem with Italia is that the ending is fucking schizophrenic, but other than that, it's fine.
Did you see the movie
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's the ending, I
with
think.
the aliens?
Yeah.
That's not historic. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. Like the show, the
Yeah.
movie. I still don't understand the movie.
But no, like,
I don't think anyone does.
I think, like, the biggest difference, especially now with, like, the difference between kid cartoons now and, in the past, is that kid cartoons were actually made for children. And now kid cartoons are essentially just made for man-children, and adult cartoons are also made for man-children.
So one of my questions I was gonna ask is, do you prefer kid cartoons or like actual adult cartoons?
It
Not
depends
like,
on the media. So, like,
okay.
when it comes to, like, the DC universe, or even Marvel to a degree, at least in the past, I prefer ones that are more geared towards adults, like
I didn't
Injustice
even,
or Death of the Justice
uh,
League or whatever. But, like, in terms of actual cartoons, I fucking hate cartoons made for adults, at least Western ones. Most of them are just, like, all edge, no point. I will always, like, Invincible's not nearly as guilty of this as other shows in its genre, but it's still kind of there.
I feel like Invincible is more on the like, because that's a superhero cartoon, so that's gonna be a
Yeah.
little different. Then you get like Family Guy and Rick and Morty and stuff like that, where like the joke, like in Rick and Morty, the joke is just pedophilia for like the first couple
First four
seasons.
seasons while Justin Roiland was still employed, yeah.
Yeah, it got better after that.
Which is
But like you
surprising
got
because Dan Harmon is also like a weird pedo person.
well, apparently he's able to rein it in enough to make a show a little better. Like, uh,
Well, Dan Harmon made Community, which is actually a good show. So it's not surprising.
yeah. I mean, you can be a pedophile and a terrible person, but a better writer because you could just like ignore that when you write,
I
maybe.
mean, look at James Gunn sometimes.
Oh,
Like
what does James Gunn do?
Guardians
Oh,
and the second Suicide Squad movie,
oh.
which also
Um,
has a little bit of that all edge no point. My contention with this kind of just goes to, I think, adult media in general now. Like, I can't fucking stand The Boys. I've never liked The Boys. I hate watched it, basically, just the entire... up until, like, season 3 where I checked out. But it's just a perfect example of the all-edge, no-point shit. And so is the comic. But, like, the show ramps it up so much more. Every adult-themed show now is just, look at all this fucking gore we can do, dude. Dude, sex
dude, that
joke.
guy,
Dude, rape. It's like,
yeah,
you know,
the guy who
Linkara...
wrote The Boys, he has another comic called Cross, and it's
Yes.
basically like a zombie type virus, except it just makes the people angry and they like just destroy each other. It's very gory, very rapey.
Yeah, it's in the same
Uh,
vein as the 65 comic series, which is also a really good comic series, but it takes that premise and then Joss Whedon slash Redditifies it and makes it gay. Which is, you see that a lot. Like, with any hack writer, I would say, I can't say much. I feel like, I have to look this up, but I'm fairly certain the guy that made The Boys also made a run of The Punisher. That
oh
was,
yeah, I
yeah,
believe so.
that was
It
actually
was
good. So I can't hate on him too much, but it fits in The Punisher. That's the only difference. When it's a completely new concept, I feel like it just doesn't work as well unless you...
well,
as
you
long
also
as...
have in the other things he made, it's like every character has the edginess of the Punisher. But instead of just being like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
that's a
this
good
is
way to
that
put it.
character," it's like everybody and all of them have terrible, horrendous backstories, and everything's bad for everyone. And
Well, it's like what
I think that's
happened.
a big
It's like
part
what
of the
happened
problem.
to the death of the MCU, where Tony Stark used to stand out as a character because he was the hee hee hoo hoo funny man. And
Oh,
then
but they're
when
all
people,
like that
yeah,
now.
when
All the
people
jokes.
realized, wow, people really like Tony Stark, they're like, what if we made everybody Tony? And it doesn't work. and
Yeah,
it's
none of the characters are
shit,
serious
and
anymore.
it's not funny, and you have moments where like people completely break the tone of the scene entirely. As much as I give Joss Whedon shit because his writing is the reason it's the way that it is now, he was better at reining it in until Age of Ultron, and then it became shit again. But like Firefly is a great example of having that lighthearted kind of view to something, but also being able to be serious when necessary and not breaking that seriousness with jokes that don't land.
I really like Firefly, and they have like it's got the lighthearted comedy to it, which I really enjoy, but they have very serious moments
Well,
where they're dealing
Firefly,
with the things that are like, torturing, mutilating people. Like they have serious stuff and they don't ruin I don't think they ruin the serious parts with just the humor.
well, no, because
They separate it.
there's one
Yeah.
character that's the funny guy, and then the rest of them are normal people. So
Yeah, I guess
instead of
because they're
everybody feeling like they're trying to be a comedian, you have one guy who is funny, and it's good character writing rather
well, and
than
you have
just
other
everybody
characters
being
like
the same person.
yeah, and the other characters make jokes and stuff, but yeah, there's one guy who's like this is the funniest character. Like if I think about it and I think of one of these characters is funny, I think of a specific
You
character.
think of Nathan Fillion.
Even no, actually.
Oh,
I
is
think
it
of him as being more the pilot. The pilot
Alan
is
Tudyk? Yeah.
he is the funny guy. He's the comedy relief character. He's got a bunch of dinosaurs sitting on his desk. Like he's just funny. And then you got Nathan Fillion's character. I see as more like he's still humorous. Like he makes jokes, and but I see him more as more like a normal person.
He's
How a normal person who just copes with humor would be, as opposed to like
yeah.
the comedic
He's
character.
a Han Solo like character, somebody
Yeah,
who's witty and funny but can also keep his cool when necessary. Yeah.
yeah, that's a good description of like he's not a comedy relief character. And the other characters I don't think of as being funny. Like they're people, they're
I mean,
likable, they've got jokes to them. They are funny sometimes, but they're not like it's not their whole character
Jane
is
is
to be funny.
funny, but not like
Yeah.
intentionally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that show. I think it's really well
It's
done.
really well done. There are things that I will say about it. The ending is so passive aggressive and petty. I hate it.
The movie, I hate the movie. It made me so mad. I felt attacked as a fan of the show in
Well,
that
yeah,
movie.
because
Like I felt like the movie itself was just vindictive and mean to the fans.
it was the vindictive like screeching of a man-child who was mad at the studio for canceling his show and
And that
decided to
was
take
not
it out
our fault.
on fucking everyone. It's
Yeah,
so bad.
I refuse to acknowledge the movie. I block it out of my memory most of the time because it hurts so bad. Because they're like, we're just gonna kill off your favorite characters one by one in totally pointless ways. Like it's the butt of a joke.
It's
and
like
it's just not.
it's
It's
like
not
the
okay.
criticisms that people have of Halo Reach, but like they're actually valid and it's not just like
Well, in Halo
hard screeching.
Reach, like that's the entire
That's the
point of
point.
the
Yeah,
thing. That's what
exactly.
it is. It's not just like a big fuck you to the fans like
Yeah.
Serenity is. Yeah.
The only real
Oh
problem I
man.
have with Firefly is what was pointed out to me, and I don't even remember who pointed this out. I think it was somebody random on Twitter. It was like, "This is just Cowboy Bebop, but Western." And I was like, "Holy shit, you're right."
I still don't have a problem with that, honestly,
Yeah, I
because
don't
you
really.
pointed out and I was like, "Oh, that makes sense."
Well,
Yeah, I still like it though.
especially because the live action Cowboy Bebop we got is dog shit. So
Yeah, there you go. It's better than the live action Cowboy Bebop. You have already live action Cowboy Bebop.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other adult themed cartoons because I keep trying to like gravitate towards Invincible, which isn't bad and doesn't. I'll be
I think
fair. It doesn't really meet the criticisms that I have for The Boys. I think that Invincible is much better written and much better handled, and I think it handled its shock factor gore a lot better than The Boys does.
I think it's pretty tasteful, honestly, the way it does stuff. I didn't like my first reaction to Invincible was highly negative. I think it's better than I thought it was then, but I watched this cartoon because my friend is like, "Hey guys, watch this cartoon," and that scene at the beginning where it shows the main bad guy is actually a bad guy and it's gory and everything. I didn't expect it And so I was just in shock because I didn't expect it, and that was my problem with it. Is just I didn't know that's what I was getting into,
Right.
and it just horrified me, and which is silly because like I like horror stuff, but I have to know that it's horror going into it to enjoy it. Otherwise, I'm not gonna like it. It just bothers me.
It's like the only thing else I can think of is like, Rick and Morty, which I have numerous problems with. I've heard it got better. I don't care. But Smiling Friends. But Smiling Friends is an anomaly. It's almost like a new chapter in adult animation, where it's essentially just Newgrounds Flash animation with a budget.
Yeah,
And I think
I,
that's
I
what
think that's
makes it
another good one.
that's what makes it good. Because it's not like media people making a show. It's just Zach Hadel shit posting with a media budget, essentially.
Yeah. I enjoy that one too. I can think of actually a lot of adult animation because I have watched so many cartoons because I cartoons are my thing. I obsess over cartoons, and when I feel like I ran out of cartoons, I will go find other ones. And when I even watch cartoons I don't like when I feel like I ran out of ones that I do like. And so I know of a lot of them, and most of the adult cartoons I have watched in the last 10 years have been really crummy. But you've got Futurama's another one that I really like.
Yeah, Futurama's good. It's
Um,
consistently good.
yeah, and even like they have a few episodes that I don't like as much as other episodes, but I can't think of a single episode off the top of my head that is straight up bad.
Like
I usually
yeah,
skip the
like even
emotional ones because they're slow, but it's not because they're bad. It's because I've seen them a million times because I've watched all of Futurama like 30 times.
yeah,
Like
well
I
it's
can
like even the ones that are
skip
like
those.
political grandstanding and gay are still funny. They still manage to have like a couple of good jokes in there. But like I think that's really what differentiates Futurama from even other things that Matt Groening has made. Like it's consistently good. The Simpsons is not consistently good. Even in the early seasons,
No.
it's not consistently good.
It's very hit or miss.
Yeah.
I found. I don't like The Simpsons near as much as Futurama. Like even episodes of The Simpsons where I'm like, this is better, like one of their better episodes. I don't like it, and I pinpointed it at some point. I think a big there's a few reasons. Like I like the fantastical future world of Futurama, so it's different. It's more cartoony and like it's not as reality grounded because it's a different setting with different stuff. It's more fantastical. I like that, but also, Futurama isn't about a family, so you can have all these they're coworkers. So you don't have to have it's not a turn off to me that they don't have this wholesome family dynamic. Whereas in
Right.
The Simpsons, it's like, wow, this is highly dysfunctional. The parents are stupid, the kids are messed up, and um like it's just it bothers me because I think because I have high strong family values and they don't
Well, I think that's
and they
that's what
still like talk like
turned a
they
lot of
do.
people out of The Simpsons because it wasn't always like that. Homer wasn't always just like like a completely shit person. Homer used to be just kind of like a goofy guy, but he was still a good
But
dad and a good husband. And then there was a point I don't remember which season. I couldn't tell you. There was a point where it just shifted and he became just a shit person. And a lot of people attribute it to the success of Family Guy, but I don't think it's that. I think that's just like where the writers started to push like the character because they wanted to make like nuclear families out to be like that. Because theirs was like that because they grew up in a shitty dysfunctional family. So therefore everybody had to.
well,
Every
a lot of yeah, I think I agree with you. I think a lot of people don't like The Simpsons because they see it as the turning point of when this became like it's almost like the template for a family in media where you have sitcoms and cartoons
yeah.
whatever where there's a family, the dad is always stupid. Like this is a trope now. They've got the stupid dad and the rebellious kids. And in The Simpsons, I watched like the first at least 13 seasons of The Simpsons in order. Um because, what do you do when you're have insomnia? And so and so I did actually see the digression of this. And I can't tell you which season it changed because it was kind of a gradual thing where the characters devolved into instead of being a full character that has traits, they turned into personifications of specific traits. And just kind of devolved from there to
Yeah.
where the cartoon itself is less complex and it's just sad. It's not like a real story anymore. It's just pieces. But also like in the earlier episodes, especially, they have a very dysfunctional family, but by the end of the episode, like they still stand up for each other and they still love each other in the end, even though it's super dysfunctional. And I don't think we should normalize dysfunctional family because I think that's the big complaint about it.
I think that's what
But at least
sets.
they still love each other, so there's something there. It's not total garbage. Like I'm pretty sure the Family Guy characters don't.
No,
I don't like
no.
that show.
I think that's what sets King of the Hill apart. Is that it's just like a normal family and normal people. Mike Judge is just
Yeah, and they're
really
not perfect, but
yeah.
they're still it's much better. They
Mi-
try harder.
Mike Judge is just really good at writing characters like that though. Um, but like even like now, the new season of King of the Hill, which everybody's afraid of, including myself, they didn't fuck it up. They kept characters fairly consistent. They keep the general tone pretty consistent, and the jokes are still funny. Like, it's a breath of fresh air for like adult entertainment, especially like adult, like essentially just cartoon sitcom entertainment. But I think that's what set King of the Hill apart, though, is it wasn't like a sitcom style story. It was just people being people.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yeah, it wasn't a push to like, oh, this dramatic misunderstanding, which is what sitcoms usually do.
it's like if you would have asked me 10 years ago, like going back to the original thing we were talking about, you would have asked me 10 years ago if I preferred adult cartoons over children's cartoons. I probably still would have said adult cartoons, but like thinking back retrospectively, there are a lot better kid cartoons on the air than there were adult cartoons. We were just talking about how Adult Swim used to have some of the most unfiltered dog shit, and the only good things that they had were like restreams from other platforms, essentially. Like Metal,
Yeah.
I live by this. Metalocalypse fucking sucks. Squidbillies is ass, but that's not a controversial opinion. For a long time, the only thing Adult Swim had was Venture Brothers, which is still good, and they canceled it. The Boondocks, which they canceled because they got sued by Tyler Perry, and Aqua Teen.
That doesn't surprise me. I know why they did
Yeah,
that.
that was the last episode before they. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And then they had a bunch of like vaporware shows that felt like they were just shit out with no thought put into them. And then after that, like after those shows got canceled, and Adult Swim basically was just the Rick and Morty channel and re-uploads of Family Guy and Toonami.
Archer. I think Archer's on there.
No, Archer's a Fox.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like
Okay.
then we got shows like Bob's Burgers, which I fucking hate.
I like the first 3 seasons of Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, the problem is the joke's not funny when you do it for 8 fucking seasons or however long that show has been on the air.
That's why I said the first 3. I watched
Yeah.
the first 5. I don't think I've seen past that because it just like I couldn't. And I like having some of the same stuff over and over again. To be fair, but like it got to a point where I was like, this is not holding my attention anymore. I just don't care.
It's
So
like,
I
yeah,
quit
Bob's
watching it.
Burgers is one of those shows where you can turn it on and you can watch an episode and be like, huh, okay. It's like, it's whatever. But then you have
The first couple
then you
seasons,
have
I think it got
BoJack
okay.
fucking Horseman, which is a show that the only people that I have ever seen talk about how they like BoJack Horseman is losers and Ethan Oliver Ralph, who is also a loser, but I had to call him out as a
That's what to
standout.
say.
Like,
He likes that show. That's
he
like
fucking
who
loves
he
that
thinks
show.
he is at this point now, because like he thought he was big at some point, but he is nothing. That's basically probably how he sees himself.
Yeah,
is
I
the
wonder
horse.
how Nick Rekieta feels about BoJack.
Oh my goodness. So BoJack Horseman is one of those shows that I knew I wouldn't like it, but I ran out of cartoons, so I watched the whole thing. Oh man, that show like makes you it makes you hate yourself. Like I mean, not yourself. It just makes you hate existing. Like
I
it's one of those things where it's like I don't feel better now that I watch this. I feel worse. Like
well,
it's
it's
it's depressing, and they make a lot of good points. They make fun of themselves. I think they make fun of a lot of things that deserve to be made fun of as far as like the media industry and stuff. But it's still the whole show. Like you want the guy to get better. And there are some times where he starts to get a little better, he's trying, and then he gives up because he's just so sad and his whole existence is so depressing and it's really sad. Like
yeah,
it's a depressing show to watch.
well,
And I kept going for some reason. I can't stop when I start.
it's a show
Oh.
that's just dripping with like misanthropy, where it's just the writers hate themselves and hate everyone around them.
And you
That's
can tell.
and
You
you
can
can
tell
tell,
the
yeah.
people who made
That's
it hate themselves and are kind of somewhat wishing for death,
You
it
can
seems
tell
like.
that with a
Like it's
lot of
so
these
awful.
modern shows. Like The Boys is a great example of this. The reason that every character in The Boys fucking sucks is because the writers suck, because they hate themselves, they hate humanity in general. And so they believe that everybody is a shit person like them.
It's yeah. Yeah, and the worldview of the writer makes a huge difference on the thing itself. Like, if you're gonna have a good cartoon, one of the things I like about cartoons is how positive they are,
Yeah.
and how positive they can be and encouraging, and the dreamlike quality you can get with like the fantastical stuff. And when you have a writer who hates themselves, who hates the world, who's feeling depressed and just down about like their outlook on everything, it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
And you're gonna feel bad after you watch it because when you absorb someone else's piece of media that they created, you absorb like the vibes they put into that. And if you're there, this sounds like super new age spiritual stuff. I'm sorry, but it's not what I mean. It's just kind of an abstract. But like if you're absorbing like the psychology that they put into this piece of media and you're like pulling onto that into yourself, like you walk away from that feeling something. That's one of the big draws of art. That's why art is supposedly important, is because it can um it can translate these abstract feelings into something that someone else can feel. And if you're absorbing the feelings off of something from somebody who is negative and just their worldview, it affects you, and it should be positive. If you're gonna make something, it should be positive, I think, unless you're trying to prove a point that needs to be made, like spread awareness, whatever, that's something. But like for cartoons, and especially kids cartoons, like it should be positive and uplifting and encourage you. And like I remember as a little kid finishing a movie, um like you finish the Goofy movie or Mulan or something. If it at the when the end credits of a movie roll and you've got the energetic music at the end of the movie and you're a little kid and it just hits you. You want to like jump around and run off the walls and like do karate and stuff
Yeah.
because you have the energy at the end of the movie. That's how you should feel after you absorb a piece of media that is meant for entertainment purposes, not for like, awareness purposes. You should have that burst of energy where you feel like you can do something big and awesome.
Yeah, it
And
shouldn't turn
you
into
don't
a
get that from all these
socio-political
depressing people.
commentary about like 1945, which is
That's a
like
problem
what
I
happened to
have
Star versus the Forces of Evil, where they turned everything into this the Mumins, that's what they're called, right?
uh, something.
The fairy
Viewers,
people.
the planet, I think.
Yeah, the fairy people are actually Nazis, and the monsters are like, we can't decide if they're an allegory for Native Americans or Jews, so they're both.
Yeah, okay, so I got like 2 episodes into that arc where they're like, "Oh, the monsters are living sad lives." And I was like, "What is this? This is not what I signed up for." Because I started that show, I really liked it at the beginning. I still really like the opening theme song. It's super bouncy and crazy. Like she shoots narwhals out of her little wand randomly and just it's just like one of those the limit is your imagination and lucid dream type of things.
Yeah.
And I really liked that about it. It was so weird and off the wall and just fun and bouncy. And then they turned into that. And it was like, what the heck is this?
Well, my
And
problem,
I
my
quit watching. I was
problem,
like, this is not what I wanted.
my problem with it is like my problem with a lot of kids' cartoons nowadays. The main character is a piece of shit.
Oh yes.
Like, Star sucks. She's a terrible person.
At the beginning, it's forgivable because it's like, oh, this is just random. Oh, she's just not paying attention, and then she increasingly gets worse throughout the show.
Well, in the beginning, it's like, oh, okay, she's retarded, whatever. But
Yeah.
as it goes on, it's like, oh no, she's just a terrible person. And like,
Yeah, at the
that's my
beginning, it's
biggest
like, oh, it's just
criticism of
culture shock.
That's my biggest criticism of Gravity Falls is that Mabel sucks. But otherwise, the rest of the characters are great. But
Mabel's
like,
better than Star by
oh
a
yeah,
long
Star
shot,
is like Mabel times 11. Whereas like, and like I noticed this even watching some shows from my childhood, like Regular Show. I like Regular Show.
Oh, they suck.
Yeah, the
The
main characters are fucking terrible. Like after I tried showing it to our kids, and I was like, wait a fucking minute. Never
Oh
mind.
no, that was awful. I had like 2 weeks where they kept asking me to watch the Bird Raccoon show, and I was like, I'm sorry, kids, we're not gonna watch that. They're terrible examples. We can't do that. And then I remember hearing like one of them was like, "Oh, can we watch the raccoon bird?" And the other one was like, "No, they are mean to each other." They're like toddlers.
That show shouldn't
Uh,
have been on Cartoon Network. It shows, because this is like, the reality is, Cartoon Network doesn't have a quality control department, or at least they didn't for a really long time. They might
a lot
now.
of shows on there are not like kid friendly.
No, they're not. Like, Steven Universe is a great example of that, but Steven Universe also
Ugh.
was barely... Steven Universe should have just been a YouTube series. Unironic,
Yeah,
like,
it would
with
have made sense as a YouTube
with
series.
how infrequently it was put out, it should have just been a YouTube series.
Also, it's just not super kid friendly. I watched I think 70 some episodes of that show. Because again, I ran out of stuff to watch, and there were elements of it I liked from what I had seen other people talking about it, just like clips and stuff. I liked the color scheme was interesting, and I liked the idea of characters like they're aliens and stuff, and like combining to like make new characters. I thought was cool, but the
It's
method they do that
fucking
in the
Dragon
show.
Ball.
The way they do it in the show has like these weirdly sexual vibes, and I do not. The whole show made me feel uncomfortable watching it.
Well,
Like
like,
I felt uncomfortable watching that show.
Rebecca Sugar should have her hard drive checked. That is something that should happen. She used to draw like Ed and Eddie porn on Tumblr.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
yeah, the show is just bad. Steven is also just a terrible person. And
Yeah.
so are the gems. Everybody in that show is a terrible person, but it's written by terrible people, so it makes sense.
So they don't know that that's the problem. You've got these writers writing characters do not even realize that their characters are bad people because their bar for what is an acceptable human being and what is a praisable human being is so low. It's bad.
Well, it's like
And
Korra.
these are the role models for kids watching the shows. Oh, Korra sucks. Yeah. Um
Korra
yeah, so
is
that's the
awful.
problem.
However, hot take, The Last Airbender has a lot of the problems that people criticize Korra for.
They multiplied it in Korra.
They
though.
just
Like,
multiplied it, yeah. I live by this. The Last Airbender Book 1 is awful. It sucks. It is a slog. It is the beach episode of an anime, but for fucking, what is it, 14 episodes?
I don't even know. It feels like 40. I know it's not, but it feels like it. Like
Yeah.
it just goes on forever. So I love Avatar, but if I'm gonna watch it, I skip book 1.
It's like
Because
there's things in
it's
book
so
1 that
long.
do matter and are good, but it's
Yeah, it's got, like-
overshadowed by so much garbage filler that it
Yeah. Well, the exposition stuff is slow. Like it's
Yeah.
just slow, and so it's not even that it's bad. It's just slow, which I mean is a bad thing. It's got pacing issues.
it has very bad pacing issues. Like, it's not that it's bad, it's just it's really slow, and it's not like a thing bad cuz slow kind of like people who don't like Blade Runner or the original Alien movie because it's too slow with like there's suspense and there's stuff building. There's things happening while it's being slow.
Yeah, and so those
There aren't
movies I think
things
are
happening
good.
in Avatar Book 1. That's
Yeah,
the
it's
problem.
like there's like 8 episodes where something happens, and then you should just like skip the rest of it.
And in those 8 episodes, things happened for about 5 minutes.
Well, also the stuff happening, it's like introducing characters, it's explaining the world and story. It's like exposition stuff.
Which is fine, it just needs to be paced better.
Yeah, I agree
think
with you.
that-
I love Avatar, but I think it had some serious pacing issues in the first book, especially.
I also think that people are a lot better at expressing how scenes in Avatar should make you feel. They're much better at doing that than the show is at conveying that. Like, you see this a lot of times when people talk about Teen Titans and, like, the arcs in that, and they make it sound a lot more grandiose and, like, emotional than it actually is in the show.
The show made me emotional sometimes, though.
Which
But
one?
I was like 12. I mean, both of them, but Teen Titans especially.
Yeah, but I feel like people, like, they overdo
I
how
think they do.
emotional
So
those scenes are.
Here's my thought on that is that because I watched it as a kid when I was like, I don't know, 12 or something, like the right age. I think that's the age it was kind of geared towards. And I loved it. It was like super hardcore and badass for, being 12. Like it was cool.
Yeah, it's a good show.
And um and then I rewatched it as an adult like a year ago or something, a year or two ago, and I still enjoyed it, and it was nice to see all the episodes in order, but I didn't get the same feelings from watching it as I had like when I was a kid, and just like the emotional bits were it was slightly less emotional, but
Yeah.
I think that the reason it's like that is because as a kid that stuff seems more emotional, but like as adults we have a bigger emotion gauge, I think, and so what seemed like I don't know, I feel like it just doesn't affect us the same because we're adults.
I feel like
So,
that's
like,
a
we
great
need
example, though,
more drama.
of making a show that appeals to both audiences.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's a fine line there. Like, you can't have Slade being actual Slade. You can't have Deathstroke be Deathstroke. But, like...
Yeah, they had to make him Slade instead.
Yeah, but, like, it's still mature enough that it's not too mature for kids, but you can still enjoy it as an adult. I think it's well done. I think most of the DC shows from that time period are well done, though. Because it's not the same time as the Batman animated series. It's around the same time, though. It's around the same time as
It's
the
like
Justice
10
League.
years later.
But it's still just say, look, man. All right.
It's a decade later.
I don't want to talk about it.
That's longer than we've been together.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm old. But like,
I love the Batman animated series.
Yeah,
They
it's
They
great.
also do a good job of like they keep it below like the limit of this is too much for children, but at the same time it's very serious.
yeah, so it's
And
like Batman Beyond does the same thing.
Well, Batman Beyond's made by the same guy.
Yeah, I know. But that's what I'm saying. It does the same thing.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it, but I wanted to finish the animated series first. But I feel like the Batman animated series sometimes doesn't get enough credit because like that's where Harley Quinn is actually from. That was the first thing she was in. They made her for that.
Wait, really?
Yeah, they actually wrote her character specifically for that. They're like, oh, we need to give Joker like a girlfriend for like a little bit, and she was gonna be like a one-off character, and then they kept her, and she's huge now. But like
That's-
she's from that.
Well, it's crazy because like she has like a tone-fitting backstory too.
Yeah,
'Cause again,
it's all from that.
You know,
Like,
as a
it's great.
father who is forced to suffer through children's superhero media, my least favorite thing about them is that, especially when they cover Batman, every single one of Batman's villains is either a legitimate psychopath, a domestic terrorist, or both.
A lot of them are eco-terrorists.
Yeah, either way, it does like. And then when you make that for children, I fucking hate it because it's like Death of the Author times 10, where it's like you completely lose what this is about entirely.
Yeah.
And you can't cover
Yeah.
there are some things you just can't cover at all, and you have to just ignore their existence because of that. like Red Hood. You can't have Red Hood in a children's cartoon series. Which
Yeah,
is
I love Red Hood. Like the Red Hood movie is like
it's
that's one of my
alright.
favorite superhero movies. I like it.
It's
I just like him.
I I think he's
I like
horribly
Jason.
underrepresented in Batman media. Like
Yeah.
even in the Arkham games, he's in it. I mean, I think he's the Arkham Knight in Arkham Knight, if I remember
Really?
correctly. Maybe I might be wrong, but like that's really all you got for Red Hood. That's what you got. You got that. You've got the Red Hood
They
movie.
skip him. They go straight from like, oh, okay, so Dick became Nightwing, and then okay, here's Damian, and they like, I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of people don't even know about
they
Jason.
they do the thing that caused Jason to become Red Hood. Ironically,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. He's not even in Injustice.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking about. Like they skip Jason's not even there. You have an actual character dynamic
Dick and
between
Damian.
Nightwing and yeah, and Damian. Like cause you've got the Son of Batman movie, it's got both of them, you see them interact. And then in the what's it called? Injustice,
Yeah.
you have them interacting and they've got like a pseudo sibling thing going on. And like just no Jason, I guess Jason's dead by then, but like so does he die? He would have died before Damien showed up.
I don't
Maybe that's why.
I don't
But
know.
it's like they just like skip right
They
past
just
him.
don't even elaborate on that even in the comics. There are people that
No one
don't like
talks about him.
there are people that don't like Injustice and they're like Superman wouldn't do this and all these heroes wouldn't do this. It's like yeah, that's kind of the point.
Yeah.
It's an alternate universe, buddy.
Well, also when you take away everything a character has, like you don't know what they're gonna do, and you've seen this like with real people. Like, people can become monsters or go postal or whatever. Like you take away their whole family and stuff. And because that's how that one starts, at least in the, I don't know about the game, but at least in the, I only saw the second game, but in the cartoon that they did for it, the cartoon adaptation,
Yeah.
they killed his pregnant wife.
Yeah,
So
that's the beginning of the
he lost
story no
his
matter what.
family.
Yeah.
Okay, so he loses his entire family, and when he's done nothing but try to like take care of this world he's not even from, and then he loses his whole family. Like he could snap and go crazy. Like people do that.
I think that's why I don't like Invincible. If I'm going to be honest, it's we've already had the what if Superman was bad thing multiple
Yeah.
times. Injustice isn't the only fucking one. Like we don't and the same
Okay.
problem I have with Homelander. It's like, okay, we're doing this again. All right, cool. Wonderful. Can we please have something original?
Yeah. Well,
Daring today, aren't we?
I think most writers start out as children writing fan fiction, essentially, and then they get older and realize, hey, fan fiction is kind of pointless. Like, I should just make my own thing because I'm creative enough. And they make their own thing, and it takes a lot of influences from the stuff they're a fan of before. And so then they grow up and become writers, and sometimes they're able to make their own thing own enough, and then other times it just like the influence bleeds through. Like there's a Steven Universe character that is so heavily based off of Invader Zim, and it's painfully obvious.
It's not just that. The entire premise is just a bunch of shit combined together. The
That's
fusion
just the
shit,
example I
it's
have
just
off the top of my head.
Dragon Ball Z. 90% of it is just Dragon Ball.
Do they fuse in Dragon Ball Z, or
Yeah,
are you just talking about
that's
when
a
they like go
big
Super Saiyan and get
no,
bigger?
fusions are a big thing. That's a thing.
I didn't I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you want to like pin it down to round out all of this. The biggest problem with modern cartoons is it's just taking a bunch of shit from anime and other properties and combining them into a shitty cartoon in a CalArts style. That's it.
Well, I mean, anime does that a lot already, and like even video games, you got like Snake Bliskin over here, but there's
Yeah, but the
so
difference is
many
you take
references in that.
like so yeah, the original Metal Gear is damn near beat for beat Escape from New York. The difference is taking that premise and then doing something with it
Yeah, and they did a good job with that.
beyond
Like
what the media is.
I'm not trying to like say bad stuff about it.
No, yeah,
I think they
I get
did
what you're
I think they
saying
did a
though.
good job of like You know, even from the first game, it evolved into its own thing. It's got a lot of its own lore, but he does take a ton of influence from different things. It's straight up like almost copies some things to throw them in there, but it's combined in a way like it's okay. I'm okay with it. Um, but I think a big part of the problem with the cartoons is the throwing it all in the same art style.
Yeah, it's like
And
I have two great examples of doing that and then doing it well. Halo. It's a combination of aliens and Starship Troopers,
yeah,
but it
they
becomes
did
so
a good
much
job.
more than that. And
It's
then
totally its own thing. Like going into the lore and everything is totally different
yeah,
enough.
and then Helldivers, which is just playing with fucking action figures,
Yeah.
and it's done well because
Yeah,
you
well,
could.
and I think that's part of like that's the draw to it is it's literally playing with action figures.
I
So in
think
that case, you want it to be a good copy of
what you
things.
really have to do if you're doing something like that, and even Kojima does this, you have to wear your inspirations on your sleeve. Like you can't just try to hide it and try to pretend like you're making something original. That's really the biggest thing is you have to, if you're going to essentially copy somebody's homework and change it a little, you have to acknowledge that you did that. Like the
Yeah,
Hunger Games, or rather the author's refusal to acknowledge that it's just battle royale.
it is so just battle royale.
Like beat for beat, it's just battle royale.
Yeah, and battle royale was better. Like I didn't read the Hunger Games books, so I can't say anything about that. But like, I didn't read any of the books of any of them. But like, just watching the movies, I watched the first couple Hunger Games movies and I watched Battle Royale and I enjoyed the Battle Royale movie a whole lot better. The second one not so much, but the first Battle Royale movie is pretty good.
But like I've read both the books and watched the movies. Um, the movies are better, and it's specifically because the actors are good actors. The book's not that good.
Well, the books in which one? The Battle Royale or in Hunger Games?
Hunger Games.
Okay, so in the Hunger Games, the books are also written in first person.
Yeah.
And so I remember, so my brother really enjoyed reading the Hunger Games because I don't know, I guess he liked reading media made for teen girls or whatever, but like because he was in all of those dystopian future novels made for teen girls. But he read the Hunger Games and he said that the last book was really hard to follow. I think it was the last book because
Yeah.
it's in first person and the main character is like drugged out and depressed and weird after her sister dies or something. And so like you're trying to follow this bad narrator, which was like okay, so I read the Twilight books not because I liked them, but because all my friends were reading them and I wanted to understand. I still don't understand. It was kind of dumb, but the first book was like okay, I understand. You got the teen romances, girly, whatever. But the second book, he like breaks up with her at the beginning, and so for 70% of the book, this girl, because they're first person, and this girl is so depressed and so out of it and so disassociated that the book is so hard to read because she's narrating everything, but she wants to die. Like she's literally suicidal through most of the book. And it's like, how, you can't do this in first person. It hurts. Like it's just not
Well,
because I feel for her, but because it just feels bad. Like I don't enjoy that.
Twilight also suffers from the horrid fate of all female media will eventually devolve into werewolf porn.
There's none of that in there.
Yes, there is.
She doesn't end up with the werewolf.
That's the third. But no, her daughter essentially does. That's
Oh,
like the
her daughter is going to end up with him
yes,
in the future. They're
yes.
basically like betrothed, but they
That's
don't
the
like she's
weirdest
still a kid in
fucking
the
thing
book.
I have read in a book. Like, yeah, there's the child gangbang in It, which is also fucked.
They're all 12.
That one kinda, that one's a bit worse, honestly.
Well, is it like he's gonna marry the chick when she's a grown up, but he's waiting until she's a grown up? So I guess it does
There's,
imply a grooming
there's,
element,
there's
maybe?
no fucking good way to look at that, like at
I don't
all.
know. It seems like the traditional, like, oh, the princess is gonna grow up and marry her, 20-year older cousin when she's 15 or whatever. I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying like that's been a thing for forever.
It's just
More so than 12-year-old gangbangs.
how do you fucking write this and think to yourself, ah yes, this is literature. Only a woman could write something like that and think, ah
It
yes,
sounds like
I be
it sounds like
cooking.
something
I'm cooking
a
right now.
16-year-old girl would write. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a teen girl thing. But yeah, yeah, oh my goodness. And then you got like 50 Shades of Grey started as a Twilight fan fiction, and then she just like changed all their names and did that. So like, okay, the chicks writing novels thing, that's a totally different topic. We were talking about cartoons.
Welcome to autism.
No, this is like a ADHD tangent going.
I think you are right. We've been recording for a good bit. I think we could cap it off here. Moral of the story: modern cartoons suck. Yeah, that's it. That's what I got.
I didn't even get to my main point.
What was your main point? There was a point?
Oh, well, because I asked you like, I was kids cartoons versus adult cartoons, and like I never even said what my answer was.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
We went on like a million tangents, and so I'll probably make a whole video about this sometime. But like you've got the kids. I think what makes a good cartoon, a good kids cartoon, you get the wholesomeness, the kids can enjoy it, but it's still funny and has intelligence in it that like, older kids can also enjoy it, and then adults can laugh at, the parents can laugh at it. And then you've got a nice good cartoon that the whole family can watch without any one person being like, "Oh my goodness, we have to watch this for the little kid and I just hate it so bad."
Perfect example: SpongeBob. Literally,
SpongeBob.
there you go. Really
SpongeBob is
anything
good.
from
They
that
have annoying
era.
voices though. You got SpongeBob, Phineas and Ferb, I think is a great one for it. I
Yeah.
think even Gravity Falls is okay, except you've got like the stuff that makes it more enjoyable for older audiences would be like the mystery and stuff. So that's like you watch the whole thing, not just like
Yeah,
you watch
you can't really
enjoy an episode. So
because
it's not the same.
because it's sequential. You can't really just like throw on an episode and be like, all right. But like you can do that with Phineas and Ferb. You can do that with SpongeBob, and like yeah, Phineas and Ferb I feel
Even
like can get a bit grating, at least for me. I understand that you love it a lot, but like there are some times where I'm just like, okay. I think it's just because I hate Candace.
yeah, she can get old. She reminds me of my sister. And so I think the reason she doesn't bug me as much is because I grew up with that, and so she's like, it's easier in an episode surrounded by funny stuff than just by itself.
Yeah.
Maybe that's probably really sad, but so either that or I'm like desensitized to it or something.
All right, we gotta end the video. I have to edit this. It's 52 minutes long.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Bye.